The rain fell heavily over Seoul. Black luxury cars lined the driveway of the Kang estate, one of the most powerful families in South Korea. Inside the mansion, servants rushed nervously through the halls. Something terrible had happened. At the center of the grand living room stood 26-year-old Kang Ji-won. Her expensive white dress was stained with tears. Her hands trembled. Across from her stood her father, Kang Min-suk, the ruthless chairman of the Kang Group, a man feared by politicians, businessmen, and criminals alike. His eyes burned with rage. "Where is he?" he demanded. Ji-won shook her head. "I don't know." Slap. The sound echoed through the room. Ji-won staggered. Her mother gasped, but her father showed no remorse. "Do you think I won't find him?" Tears streamed down Ji-won's face. "You don't understand." "No," her father growled. "You are the one who doesn't understand." He leaned closer. "When my men find that African boy." His voice became deadly calm. "They will kill him." Ji-won's eyes widened. "No." The room fell silent. For the first time in her life, she challenged her father. "If anything happens to him." Her voice broke. "I'll never forgive you." Her father stared at her, then smiled coldly. "Then prepare to hate me." 3 months earlier, the day Ji-won met the man who would change her life forever. If this is your first time seeing this channel, you might want to subscribe and like so you don't miss out any time I drop a new episode. The spring sun shone brightly. Students filled the campus. Ji-won walked alone beneath blooming cherry blossoms. Despite her wealth, she looked lonely. Most people only wanted her because of her family name. Nobody saw the real her. Then suddenly, crash, a stack of books fell from her arms. Papers scattered everywhere. She sighed. Perfect. Before she could bend down, another hand reached for the papers. A deep voice spoke. "You dropped these." Ji-won looked up and froze. The man kneeling beside her was tall, dark-skinned, athletic, calm eyes, a warm smile. His name was Malik, an international graduate student from Nigeria. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Malik handed her the papers. "You okay?" Ji-won nodded quickly. "Why, yes." Their fingers touched briefly. Something unexpected happened. A spark, tiny, but impossible to ignore. Ji-won couldn't stop thinking about him. Hours later, she saw him again. He sat alone reading. She surprised herself. Normally, she never approached strangers. Yet her feet carried her toward him. "Mind if I sit here?" Malik looked up, smiled. "Sure." They talked. At first awkwardly, then naturally. They discovered shared interests. Books, photography, travel, music. For the first time in years, Ji-won laughed freely. Malik noticed. "What's funny? You, me, you treat me like a normal person." Malik shrugged. "Because you are." Ji-won stared at him. Nobody had ever said that. Not sincerely. That evening, Ji-won returned home. The mansion felt cold, huge, empty. At dinner, her father discussed business. Her mother discussed social events. Nobody asked how her day was. Nobody cared. Ji-won quietly remembered Malik's smile. For the first time, home felt less comforting than a small cafe. And that frightened her. Weeks passed. Ji-won and Malik spent more time together, walking through Seoul, exploring hidden cafes, sharing dreams. For Malik, life had never been easy. He came from a hardworking Nigerian family. Everything he achieved came through determination. Ji-won admired that. For Ji-won, life had always been controlled. Her future, her friends, even her emotions. Malik hated that. "You should live your own life." She laughed bitterly. "You make it sound easy." "No." He smiled. "I make it sound possible." One evening, they stood overlooking the Han River. The city lights shimmered. A gentle breeze moved Ji-won's hair. Malik glanced at her, then quickly looked away. Dangerous. This feeling was dangerous. He knew their worlds were different. Very different. Ji-won noticed. "What?" "Nothing." "You're lying." Malik smiled. "You ask too many questions. And you avoid too many answers." They laughed, but neither admitted the truth. They were already falling. At the Kang estate, disaster arrived. Ji-won's father announced her engagement. A strategic marriage. The son of another wealthy family. Business. Power. Influence. Ji-won felt sick. "I don't love him." Her father stared coldly. "Love is irrelevant." Her mother remained silent. Ji-won's heart shattered. For the first time, she realized. She was not a daughter. She was an asset. A bargaining chip. And suddenly one face filled her mind. Malik, the one man who made her feel free. The one man her family would never accept. The one man she was beginning to love. The city lights reflected on the water. Ji-won sat quietly on a bench. The engagement announcement had happened 2 days earlier. She hadn't slept properly since. Malik immediately noticed something was wrong. You've been avoiding me. Ji-won forced a smile. No, I haven't. Ji-won. The concern in his voice nearly broke her. For several seconds, she stared at the river. Then whispered, my father is forcing me to marry someone. Silence. Malik's heart sank. The words hit harder than he expected. He knew he shouldn't care this much. Yet somehow he did. A lot. When? 6 months. Malik nodded slowly, trying to hide the pain. Then congratulations. Ji-won's eyes widened. Congratulations? Malik looked away. What else am I supposed to say? The hurt in his voice shocked her. Suddenly she understood. He felt it too. The connection. The attraction. The growing love neither had admitted. Malik. He stood. I should go. Wait. He stopped. Ji-won walked toward him. Her heart pounded. Louder. Faster. Every second felt dangerous. Then she said the words she could no longer hide. I don't want to marry him. Malik looked at her. Then don't. You don't understand. No. His voice cracked. You don't understand. The emotions he'd buried finally surfaced. I've been trying not to fall for you. Ji-won's breath caught. Malik continued. Every day I tell myself we're from different worlds. He laughed bitterly. Every day I tell myself this can never work. His eyes met hers. And every day I fail. Tears formed in Ji-won's eyes. The distance between them disappeared. Neither knew who moved first. Only that suddenly they were standing inches apart. Then, their first kiss. Soft. Careful. Terrifying. Perfect. And neither realized someone was watching from across the street. A private investigator hired by Ji-won's father. The next morning, Chairman Kong sat behind his desk. The investigator placed several photographs on the table. Photo after photo. Ji-won. Malik. Together. Laughing. Holding hands. Kissing. The room became silent. Deadly silent. The chairman's face darkened. Who is he? His name is Malik Adeyemi. The investigator handed him a file. Graduate student. The chairman flipped through the pages. The more he read, the angrier he became. Finally, he slammed the file shut. My daughter is risking our family's reputation for this man. The investigator lowered his eyes. Chairman Kong stood. End this. Sir, I don't want to see him near my daughter again. That evening, Malik left the university library. A black luxury car stopped beside him. 2 men stepped out. Expensive suits. Cold expressions. Mr. Adeyemi. Malik immediately sensed trouble. One man handed him an envelope. Inside was money. A lot of money. Take it. Malik looked confused. For what? Leave Korea. Malik laughed. The man didn't. Suddenly Malik realized they were serious. What if I don't? The second man stepped closer. His voice low. Then things become difficult. Malik understood. This wasn't a request. It was a threat. He handed back the envelope. No. The men's expressions hardened. Malik walked away. But deep down he knew. This wasn't over. At the mansion, Ji-won was summoned. Her father sat waiting. The photographs lay across the table. Ji-won's blood turned cold. You investigated me? I protected this family. By spying on me? Chairman Kong stood. His voice thundered through the room. You embarrassed us. I fell in love. You made a mistake. Ji-won stared at him. No. Her voice trembled, but remained firm. The mistake is believing you can control my life forever. The chairman froze. His daughter had never challenged him before. Never. Then she said something that pushed him over the edge. I love him. The room exploded. Chairman Kong smashed a crystal glass against the wall. The sound echoed. Her mother flinched. Servants froze. The chairman pointed toward the door. You will never see him again. Ji-won refused. No. The chairman's eyes became ice. Then I'll make sure he disappears. For the first time in her life, Ji-won became afraid of her father. 3 nights later, Malik worked late. The streets were nearly empty. As he walked home, a van stopped. 4 men jumped out. Malik barely had time to react. The first punch landed hard. The second man swung a metal pipe. Malik ducked. The fight exploded. Years of athletic training helped him. But 4 against 1 was impossible. A pipe struck his ribs. Another hit his shoulder. Blood dripped from his forehead. The attackers finally backed away. One of them grabbed Malik by the collar. Stay away from Kong Ji-won. Then they left. Malik collapsed onto the pavement, breathing heavily, realizing this had gone far beyond disapproval. Someone wanted him gone. Permanently. Ji-won rushed into the emergency room. When she saw Malik's injuries, she broke down. Bruises, cuts, bandages, blood, all because of her. She sat beside him, crying. I'm sorry. Malik reached for her hand. None of this is your fault. It is. No. She shook her head. You don't know my father. Malik looked at her, then finally understood. This wasn't going to stop. Not until one of them gave up, or something worse happened. Meanwhile, Chairman Kong sat inside a private conference room. Several trusted men stood nearby. One of them spoke carefully. The warnings haven't worked. The chairman nodded, his expression emotionless, cold, dangerously calm. Then he spoke, the words that would change everything. Take care of him. The room went silent. Everyone understood exactly what he meant. The chairman looked out the window, not a hint of regret on his face. If Malik Adeyemi refuses to leave, his voice became deadly. Make sure he never bothers my daughter again. Rain poured over Seoul. Malik left his apartment building shortly after midnight. The streets were almost empty. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. A black sedan rolled slowly down the street. Its headlights remained fixed on him. Malik's instinct screamed. Run. Suddenly. Screech. The car accelerated. Straight toward him. Malik jumped aside just as the vehicle crashed into a street barrier. Before he could recover, two armed men stepped out. Their faces hidden. Their intentions obvious. This was no warning. This was an execution. Malik sprinted. Footsteps thundered behind him. He raced through narrow alleys, through back streets, across intersections. The men kept coming. Finally, he slipped into an abandoned warehouse. Breathing heavily, heart pounding, he hid behind old shipping containers. The assassins entered, searching. Closer, closer. Then, police sirens echoed nearby. The men immediately retreated. Within seconds they vanished. Malik remained hidden, shaking, realizing the terrifying truth. Ji-won's father wasn't trying to scare him anymore. He was trying to kill him. The next morning, Ji-won arrived at Malik's apartment. The moment she saw his face, she knew. Something terrible had happened. After hearing everything, she broke down. They tried to kill you. Malik nodded. Neither spoke for several seconds. Then Malik quietly said, I think I should leave Korea. The words shattered her. No. Ji-won. No. Tears streamed down her face. If you leave, they'll win. If I stay, I might die. The painful silence that followed felt endless. Deep down, both knew he was right. Love was no longer the problem. Survival was. For the next week, they planned quietly. No phone calls. No messages. No social media. Only secret meetings. The goal was simple. Get Malik out of Korea safely. Then Ji-won would join him. Far away from her family. Far away from their control. For the first time, they allowed themselves to dream. A small home. A peaceful life. No fear. No threats. Just love. Unfortunately, someone overheard and reported everything to Chairman Kong. Departure day. Incheon Airport. Ji-won waited nervously. Her hands trembled. Malik was minutes away from boarding. Finally, freedom. Then she saw them. Her father's security team. Every exit. Every entrance. Every hallway. Her blood ran cold. It was a trap. At the same moment Malik entered the terminal, the security team moved. Fast. Aggressive. Professional. Malik instantly realized. He turned. Ran. Chaos erupted. Passengers screamed. Security guards chased him. Ji-won pushed through the crowd. Stop. Nobody listened. The airport became a battlefield. Within minutes Malik disappeared into the crowd. But the escape was ruined. Their future shattered once again. That night, Malik met Ji-won one final time. An old rooftop overlooking the city. The place where they once dreamed together. Now it felt like a funeral. Ji-won cried before he even spoke. She already knew. Malik took a deep breath. We have to end this. No. We don't have a choice. Don't do this. Malik's eyes filled with pain. Every word hurt. But he forced himself to continue. Your family will never stop. We can fight. They'll destroy you. I don't care. I do. That sentence broke her. Malik stepped closer, gently touched her face. I love you too much to watch them destroy your life. Ji-won collapsed into tears. For several minutes neither moved. Neither spoke. Neither wanted to let go. But eventually, they did. And for the first time since meeting each other, they walked away separately, believing it was forever. Weeks passed. Ji-won became a shadow of herself. Then something unexpected happened. Her mother visited her. For years, she had remained silent, obedient, afraid. But now she revealed a secret. Many years earlier, she had loved someone else, a man her family rejected. Chairman Kong had destroyed that relationship, forced her into marriage, controlled her entire life. The realization devastated Ji-won. Her father wasn't protecting her. He was repeating the same cruelty, the same prison, the same suffering. And suddenly Ji-won made a decision. She would stop running. The annual Kong Group Gala. Politicians, executives, celebrities, media. The most important night of the year. Chairman Kong prepared to announce Ji-won's engagement publicly. Everything was perfect, until Ji-won walked onto the stage and took the microphone. The ballroom became silent. Thousands watched. Cameras recorded everything. Then Ji-won spoke. "My name is Kong Ji-won." The audience smiled politely. Then her next sentence changed everything. "For years I allowed others to control my life." The chairman froze. Ji-won continued. "My father believes power gives him the right to decide who deserves love." The room erupted with whispers. Chairman Kang's face darkened. Ji-won. But she ignored him and told everyone the truth. The threats, the violence, the attacks, everything, live, in front of the entire nation. The scandal exploded overnight. News channels covered it nonstop. Business partners withdrew support. Investors demanded answers. Government agencies launched investigations. Chairman Kong had spent decades building his empire. Now it was collapsing, not because of enemies, because of his own actions. For the first time in his life, he lost. Several months later, Chairman Kong sat alone in his office. Older, tired, broken. Ji-won visited him. Neither spoke for a long moment. Finally he asked, "Do you still hate me?" Ji-won looked at him carefully. The powerful man she once feared seemed gone. Only an old father remained. "I don't hate you." The chairman lowered his eyes. Regret filled his face. "Then why can't you forgive me?" Ji-won's answer was simple. "Because Malik almost died." The chairman had no response. For the first time, he truly understood what he had done. 6 months later, the afternoon sun shone brightly. People moved through a busy outdoor market. A familiar figure walked through the crowd. Malik. He had returned home, started a successful business, built a new life. But one thing was still missing. Then he heard a voice. "Still avoiding my calls?" He froze, slowly turned around, and saw her, Ji-won, standing there, smiling through tears. For several seconds neither moved, neither breathed. Then Malik laughed. The kind of laugh that comes after surviving heartbreak, after surviving loss, after surviving impossible odds. He walked toward her. She ran toward him. And finally, after months apart, they embraced, holding each other tightly, refusing to let go. As the sun set over Lagos, Malik and Ji-won sat together overlooking the ocean. No bodyguards, no threats, no family pressure, no fear, just peace. Ji-won rested her head on his shoulder. "Do you regret meeting me?" Malik smiled. "Not for a second." She laughed softly. "What about all the trouble? I'd go through it all again." Ji-won looked up. "Really?" Malik kissed her forehead. Every single time. The camera slowly pulled back. The ocean stretched endlessly before them, a symbol of how far they had come and how much they had survived. Narrator. Sometimes love demands sacrifice. Sometimes it demands courage. And sometimes it asks you to fight the entire world. But for those willing to fight, love can become the greatest victory of all.